welcome to Creative Coloring with Erum. I am Erum Tasneem and today I'll be using the watercolor brush markers to color. I'll be using this gorgeous Wonderland stamp set on my card today. I have picked out the largest flower from this stamp set. First, I'll prep this with an eraser since my stamp is new and has never been used before. This will be helpful in getting a good ink coverage. I'm using a watercolor cardstock and I don't know the brand of this cardstock. I just asked for an inexpensive, sturdy cardstock and the shopkeeper gave me this. I think it's Aquafine something. So I have used permanent black ink to stamp the image and I'll heat set it for a few seconds just to be on the safe side. My panel is 4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to use the Altenew watercolor brush markers, which I absolutely love. This is the Winter Wonderland set. I will color the flower first, and for this I've chosen Ruby Red, Rouge and Citrus Burst watercolor brush markers. I'll color each petal differently today and I'm not going to be super worried about adding detail to my watercolor. I'll start by applying water to the petal and add the ruby red watercolor closer to the flower center, the beginning of the petal that is, and I'll use a water brush to spread around this color. The interesting thing about ruby red is that when it's diluted, it turns into a gorgeous pink color and doesn't stay red, but when it is concentrated, it will look like red. Like I said, I won't be adding a lot of detailing to my image today. So what I'll do is I'll use the three colors that I'm using to depict light and shadow. I'm using the ruby red to add shadow, as in to show depth, and the citrus burst to show where the sunlight is hitting the petals, or just the highlights. The rouge will be the color that will connect the ruby red and citrus burst. Once the petal dries a bit, I'll go back in with ruby red and add stippling and even more depth if needed. I'm actually using the same colors on my card today as I did on this card I shared on the release day. It is such a gorgeous combination of colors and a lot of you liked the card, so I thought it would be great to use the same colors again. So more or less I'll color the card in the same manner. For the stem, I'll first add citrus burst directly and then add a line on the edge with emerald. This will be a very thin line and I'll use the water brush to blend the colors together. I'll leave you with some music till I'm coloring the flower. As soon as I'll start with the background, I'll be right back. the background, I'll apply water generously with the help of a water brush. Like, seriously generously. Don't hold back. I'll squeeze the barrel as much as I can to add enough water so that it doesn't dry up for a while. Then I'll color directly with Lagoon watercolor brush marker. And you will see the beautiful bleed right away because of all the water I applied. I'll also drop in some Persian blue into this wet watercolor area. I'll use my water brush to spread this a bit. You will notice that I pressed the Persian blue watercolor brush marker barrel a little too much, so I'll pick it up with a tissue paper. And then I thought to add more of Lagoon to hide the blob, but I mistakenly picked up Emerald watercolor brush marker, which I didn't want to use on my background. So again, used a tissue paper to sop the Emerald watercolor and then hide this. I added a lot of concentrated Lagoon watercolor. So you can see that these watercolors are really forgiving. You will also notice that I add bits of ruby watercolor to my background. This is solely for interest and creating the artsy look so that the flower doesn't look as crisp as it's looking right now. I think a bit more of this ruby red would have looked better, but I was a little apprehensive in doing so. I will keep on working on the background till I'm happy with it. After I'm done, I will add splatters of Lagoon and Persian blue to the watercolored area and a little on the white space. I will then heat set it and add tons of splatters with water. I'll let it sit for a few seconds before picking them up with a tissue paper. After completely drying my panel, I'll add very fine black paint splatters since I've already added a very textured background because of the watercolor water splatters. So fine black splatters will work with this look. After my panel is completely dry, I'll stamp the sentiment Hello Starshine. I love the sentiment. It sounds so cool, and I thought the dark background works with the starshine sentiment. I'll also add another sentiment to this. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? Amazing sentiments in this set, I tell you. I hope you liked my card. I love these watercolor brush markers. They are so awesome. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.